I knew I had stayed on that post for too long because it stopped being about her and started quietly becoming about me. It was a Sunday evening, the kind that feels slow in a very honest way. No noise, no urgency, just soft light coming through the window, the air still, everything settled. I had just gotten home from a trip 2 days before, and for once, I wasn't rushing into anything. I remember thinking, this feels good, peaceful, earned. And then my phone lit up. It was her. Not a message. A post. I opened it absentmindedly, the way you do when you're not expecting anything to shift your mood. And there she was, standing next to him, smiling in a way that looked certain. Not performative, not curated, just certain. Her hand slightly forward, the ring catching the light in that very intentional, almost cinematic way. And the caption. Simple, soft, confident. Forever starts now. I didn't react immediately. No gasp. No smile. No comment. Just stillness. And then something moved inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, uncomfortable awareness that I didn't like the feeling that had just landed in my chest. Because suddenly, I wasn't just looking at her anymore. I was looking at myself, through her moment. I remember tilting my head slightly, zooming in, not even consciously, just to look at the ring closer. Then her face, then his, then back to the caption again, like maybe there was something I missed the first time. And then it happened. That thought. The one that doesn't ask permission before it settles in. You're 30. It didn't come with panic. It came with comparison. And that was worse. Because within seconds, my mind started doing something I didn't even tell it to do. It began arranging things, quietly lining up timelines that no one had actually written down. Who got there first, who was where they were supposed to be, who was ahead. And somehow, without even questioning it, I had placed myself on the other side of that equation. I wish I could say I caught it immediately, that I recognized what was happening and shut it down. But I didn't. I stayed there, scrolling back up, reading the comments, seeing the "so happy for you" and "you deserve this" and "finally" and "it's your time." And each one felt like it was quietly asking me something. So, when is yours? And that's when I noticed it. My body hadn't moved, but my mood had shifted completely. Nothing in my life had changed in that moment. Not my work, not my progress, not the life I had been carefully building. But somehow, it all felt smaller, less impressive, less complete, less enough. I remember placing my phone down on the counter, not because I had some big realization, not because I was trying to be intentional. Honestly, it just started to feel heavy in my hand, and I didn't want to hold that feeling anymore. I leaned back slightly, resting my hands against the edge of the counter, and just stood there, quiet, letting the moment sit. And the first honest thought I had was this: why does this suddenly feel like it has something to do with me? Because if I was being real with myself, it didn't. Her life had nothing to do with mine. Her timing had nothing to do with mine. Her moment didn't take anything away from me. And yet, I had made it mean something. About me. That was the part that unsettled me. Not the comparison itself, but how quickly I believed it. How quickly I accepted the idea that maybe I was behind, without even questioning where that idea came from. I walked away from the counter for a second, then came back. Not to my phone, just back to myself. And I asked something I had never really asked that directly before. Who decided this was the timeline? Because the more I sat with it, the more I realized I couldn't answer that. No one had ever told me, by 30, this must be done. No one had handed me a schedule and said, follow this exactly. But somehow I had internalized it anyway. Quietly, gradually, over time. And that's when something started to shift. Not in a dramatic, life-changing way, but in a way that felt grounding. Because I started to see that I wasn't reacting to her engagement. I was reacting to what I thought it represented. Stability, completion, arrival. All the things we're subtly taught to associate with certain milestones. But here's what I couldn't ignore anymore. I had stability, just in a different form. I had built a life that allowed me to move, to explore, to choose. I had created peace in places where there used to be confusion. I had done the quiet work, the kind no one celebrates publicly. And yet, in that moment, I had reduced all of that to one missing piece. Wait, I haven't told you the most important part yet. Because the realization wasn't the turning point. The decision was. I stood there, looking at my phone again, and I felt the urge to pick it up, to scroll again, to go back into that loop of checking, comparing, analyzing. And for the first time, I didn't follow it. Not because I was trying to prove anything, but because I could see, clearly now, where it was leading me. And I didn't want to go there again. So instead, I did something that felt almost unfamiliar. I let the thought exist without entertaining it. I didn't argue with it. I didn't try to replace it with a positive affirmation. I didn't force myself to feel better. I just didn't engage. And in that quiet space, something softened. The urgency faded. The pressure eased. The weight lifted. Just a little. And I realized something that has stayed with me since that day. Comparison only has power when you participate in it. The moment you stop feeding it, it starts to lose its grip. That evening didn't end with some big breakthrough. I didn't suddenly feel completely free from comparison. But I felt aware. And that awareness changed how I moved from that moment on. I started noticing when I was doing it again. Not just with relationships, but with everything. Work, lifestyle, progress. And instead of letting it run its full course, I would pause. Not to judge myself, just to notice. This again. And slowly, over time, it stopped feeling automatic. It stopped feeling like truth. Because the truth is, comparison is incredibly convincing. It presents itself as logic, as awareness, as just being real. But most of the time, it's not real. It's selective. It highlights what you don't have and ignores everything you do. And that's a very unfair comparison. Looking back now, I'm actually grateful for that moment because it showed me something I needed to see. Not about her, not about relationships, but about myself. That I had been quietly measuring my life against a standard I never consciously chose. And every time I didn't meet it, I questioned my progress. But the moment I stepped out of that, even just slightly, everything started to feel different. Lighter, clearer, more honest. I wasn't behind. I was just on a different path. And that path, it wasn't missing anything. It was still unfolding. So if you've ever had a moment like that, where someone else's life made you question your own, I want you to pause the next time it happens. Not to fight the feeling, not to suppress it. Just to ask yourself one simple question. What am I making this mean about me? Because that answer will tell you everything. And maybe, just maybe, you'll realize it was never about being behind. It was about believing you were. I'd really love to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself in a moment like that, where comparison quietly shifted how you saw your life? What did it feel like for you? Share it in the comments. I genuinely read them, and I'd love to know your experience. And if this conversation felt like something you needed today, then this space is for you. Subscribe to GistOver Cooking, where we take moments like this and turn them into something softer, clearer, and a little more honest.